Hello backyard gardeners. I thought I'd make a little video to just talk about some best practices when it comes to watermelon farming, because they are my favorite thing to grow and they are going off right now. So check this out. Up here I have a watermelon vine and I've trained it to go up onto this trellis. So you can see there's a pumpkin growing there as well. Little known fact about vines is that they love to climb these kind of watermelon, pumpkin, squash, all that kind of thing, and the stems are actually strong enough to support the fruit. So you can see the vine starts down here and then over here, and I've just trained it up, so once it gets long I just bring it up and weave it in, or I'll zip tie it sometimes real loosely. And so I want to show you how the watermelon works. So basically you've got these flowers, right? And you've got, just like, you know, adults, people, you've got boys and girl flowers, okay? So let me show you a girl flower. This is a girl flower right here. And so you can see a little baby watermelon. They start out about the size of like a Lego man head, okay? Now if they don't get fertilized, what's gonna happen is they are just going to wither up like this, and eventually that will just fall off onto the ground. But if they get fertilized, what they'll do is they'll get bigger and bigger and bigger. See, here's kind of a next size up. And they grow really fast. I'm talking like they're this ping pong ball size today. Tomorrow that'll be like a tennis ball, then an orange, and then like a softball, and then a grapefruit. Like all like day. It just moves really, really fast. So let me see if I can find some to show you how to fertilize them. Because as you can see, I've got all of this vine, and I don't see any bees or any flies or anything kind of going into those flowers to fertilize them. And so what I've found is that you can fertilize them yourself, or rather help them do it. So there's not, the only difference between a female flower like this one and a male flower like this one is that if you look underneath there, there's just no melons starting. And there's a big ratio of male flowers to female flowers. Isn't that the truth? And so finding, you know, a good one for these guys can be kind of hard. So what you can do is just pick off the flower, okay? And then you've got inside there all kinds of pollen. Okay, so you can see that. And then let's just find one that needs to be fertilized. Let's go down here. So there's a good example of a male flower. You can see all of that pollen right there on, I don't know, the middle part, okay? And then we've got a female flower just right here, okay? And if you look inside, where did they go? There we go. If you look inside, let's see if we can get it to focus. There you go. You can see there really isn't a lot of pollen on the female flower. It's really just waiting for pollen. And so what I like to do, let me see if I can set the camera down here. What I find to be easy is just pull the petals off, and you can see, you know, how much pollen there is just on the petals. So it wants to come right off of that middle part. People who know things about plants and botany could probably tell me what the names of these parts are, but let's just call it the reproductive part. Okay. Oops. Alright, so I kind of lost the stem there. And what you're going to do is hold on to the flower. Shoot, I should have picked a bigger stem. Oh well. We're going to do it in one take, so I don't care. Alright. Get a hold of it like this. And then we're going to go over here to the female flower. And you're just going to reach that in there, okay? And now, you know, the goal isn't to just mash it on there. You want to be a gentleman, right? And you're just going to dab it around the edge, I guess. So see how I'm kind of dabbing? And if you look, I don't know if this will focus in that close, but I'm getting lots of pollen dust all around there, okay? Now what I've found is if you don't do this, you'll get, you know, maybe 1 or 2 watermelons fertilized. But if you do this, you can really fertilize with a high success rate. I just fertilized that one, where is it, last week, and it's growing really, really good already. You can tell once they take off, they're gonna just go. So let me show you some more complete looking ones. You can see I've got another vine. I've just trained it along the fence here. What I like to do is, you know, my fence has kind of 2 support bars, so I just put in these outdoor screws every couple of feet, and then you can see how I zip tied one on there. It's real loose, like it's not cutting off circulation for that plant or anything. There's another baby that's not open yet. You want to wait till the flower's open, and the best time to do this is in the morning because they have a tendency to close once the heat comes out. But here's a good kind of like, I don't know, close to a fist size, maybe not quite, but I'd say kind of between a tennis ball and a baseball. And then have one that looked just like that last week, and you can see now it's quite big, and so it will just grow. You can see it's, well, this one's actually kind of sitting on something, but they will support themselves just hanging right on the vine. the stem is strong enough to support the watermelon. And so what you kind of look for when you're getting ready to harvest, oops, sorry, there we go, is that each one of these vines has a little curly-Q deal, like this guy. And that's what grabs on, you see that? That grabs onto things to help it climb. And when that dries out, that's a good indicator that this guy is ready to go. So you can see there's little like hairs on this still. They start out super furry, and then over time they become more smooth, watermelon-like. So that's kind of that. And then I'll show you one more that's hanging right here. You can see this one's just hanging on its own stem, and there's a good example of the curly-Q up there, nice and green, and it'll dry out as this guy gets bigger. So that's kind of how that works. And this is really easy. I mean, if you buy a watermelon, they usually come with seeds inside, and you just put them in the ground and start watering them, and then give the vine a place to grow. It doesn't have to climb a fence. You can do it on the ground. They're really leafy, and one of the reasons that is because all of these leaves are meant to shade the ground around them, and that helps to control weeds and stuff. But since I'm growing them up, they don't have to worry about any kind of weeds, and it also helps with pests and things like that. If you are growing watermelons on the ground, you can always throw like a pie tin or a piece of aluminum foil under the watermelon once it starts, and that will help contain it so it doesn't get rot. There we've got a spaghetti squash, nice, and some of those little decorative pumpkin deals. Got some green beans growing, so you can see a bunch of them just kind of hanging out, so it's probably time to harvest those soon. So that's just a little piece of my garden. I hope this was a helpful video, and have a great day.